our next comedian is a producer of this very show, Los Uff Das. You may see her next week at the Burbank Comedy Festival. And, wild stuff. She was at a protest at Universal Studios that went awry. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole Blessing.
Okay, yeah, I was at that protest, and right after Katie was asked, should we do this? He turned to me and I said, hell yeah, let's do it! It's not my fault. They were going to do it anyway. They totally were. So yeah, last week I was in Beverly Hills for a meeting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy walking towards me on the sidewalk said, I really like your Barbie. I'm like, no, this is Diane von Furstenberg. I felt like I had to clarify, because it was Beverly Hills. And he's like, that is such a Barbie thing to say. I'm like, I'm just existing in the world. I don't know. Now, according to the lore of Beverly Hills Cop 2, yes, 6-foot-tall women grow on trees in California. Now we jump ahead 36 years. Clearly, our numbers have dwindled to the point where we are mistaken for Barbie cosplayers. I guess, my cross to bear until this, hype is ended. But yeah, I was also, jumped on the app formerly known as Twitter. Because I am just a sadist. And there were a lot of really bizarre posts on there. And I think, it has to be said. Okay, neither Barbie nor the Barbie movie is responsible for this latest round of Trump indictments. No, that was done by a grand jury, made up of people who could not talk their way out of jury duty. Because that's how our justice system works. But I tell you something the Barbie movie is doing. It is making women question their relationships. Yeah, they come out of the theater and they're like, wait, my boyfriend made me listen to him play guitar for 4 hours. The same song over and over. He's always asking me to bring him a beer, and oh my God, he tries to explain The Godfather to me every chance he gets. And the realization hits them. They are dating a Ken. No one wants to date a Ken. I dodged a bullet there. I married an Ellen. Yes. My husband, Fred, is a feminist. If anyone wants to take that up with him, you guys just remember, only Alan knew how to fight in that movie. Yeah, and conservatives, they're losing their minds over this whole Ken thing. Saying things like, Ken has low T. That is a lot of pressure for a plastic man with no genitalia. You think about it, it's like, okay, Ken, he has infected Barbie Land with toxic masculinity. He stole her dream house. He brainwashed her friends. And yet she still doesn't want to hurt him, much like many divorces in the Midwest. But let's stop and consider, like, previous summers, it's been, hot girl summer, white boy summer. Don't know where that came from, but the summer of 2023, the summer of existential dread. Yeah. That's right. If you want to question your own existence, just opt for the Barbenheimer experience. Yeah. But tickets to Oppenheimer and 70mm IMAX, they are harder to get than Taylor Swift tickets, so good luck with that. And I really feel like I want one of those t-shirts that says, now I'm become death, the destroyer of worlds. Not because of the movie, but because I'm now entering 8 years of living in LA. That is the level that I am at. The news, other things in the news. Anybody see the thing about Rudy Giuliani? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that he was charged with sexual harassment and wage theft.
Oh.
Yeah, I can tell from the room you guys are totally shocked. Yeah, the transcripts sound something like, someone took to Chat GPT, entered, craft an episode of Law & Order SVU with a political figure that everyone is familiar with. Yeah, and that resulted in a lot of repetitive things about big tits. Yeah, don't listen to it. You can't unhear it. But he also threw in some anti-Semitism, to round it out. Things like Jewish people, yeah, they need to get over Passover. I mean, it's been 3,000 years. It's not like, the Red Sea hasn't been parted before. Which is very hypocritical coming from an Italian Catholic. Mm-hmm. Okay, for those of you not raised Catholic, Easter is like 5 days. Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Monday. This is a time as a child growing up Catholic that you dread. Okay, the worst year was when my sister was cast as Jesus in the Passion play. Okay, it was a progressive Catholic school. We're talking 3 consecutive nights. And yes, my mother got way into it and made us go to all 3. Like, she was really, really vested in this. She got very angry with me. We're sitting there and she's like, Nicole, how can you just sit there? How can you just sit there while she is being nailed to the cross? Have you no compassion? I'm like, Mom, there's 6 kids holding this up. She's not even really carrying it. She's not nailed to it. She's loosely tied. And you put eyeliner and mascara on her so her eyes would pop. You just staged Mom this whole crucifixion. And she did. She was a very closeted stage mom. Yeah, I was one of those dance kids. I cannot watch Dance Moms without it triggering my PTSD. She also, stage mommed my sister's wedding. She's very guilt motivated. But, people, they enter a wedding thinking, mistakenly that it's going to be all about them and their significant other. No, it never is. Everybody wants a piece of that wedding. It's like, oh, now you have to remember that Aunt Cleo has so many dietary restrictions and her emotional support lizard has to be with her at all times. So whatever venue for the reception you pick has to accommodate this. And you can't possibly get married without Aunt Cleo. Yeah, bridezillas, they may get a bad rap, but they get shit done. They have a clear vision, okay? And they go for it. Their mental health is intact. They're getting, at least 8 hours of sleep. I don't think we should discredit them. My sister, she was Mom's favorite. Okay, my mother, she was originally from Iowa. Yeah, thank you. And my sister, followed the life plan she set out. She moved to Iowa. She got married, had 4 kids, drives a minivan that's constantly sticky and no one can explain why. Her idea of relaxation is to pop a couple Benadryl and drink half a bottle of wine. Yeah, and in Iowa, that is called chasing the pink dragon. Yeah. I sort of, eschewed my mom's plans for me. Like, nothing would have made her happier, okay, than if I had gone to Iowa State and become the Iowa pork queen. So she could say things like, Nicole can't come to the family reunion. She's at the World Pork Expo doing God's work. Okay, now every time I do a set where I've mentioned the Iowa pork queen, men come up to me afterwards and say things like, if she smelled like bacon, I would marry her. Is there some secret bacon fetish that men have that they just don't tell us about?
Yeah.
I knew it. I always suspected. All right, you've all been so great. I am Nicole I don't even know my own name, you guys. I am Nicole Blessing. And let's bring back our host, Jason.
Let's keep it going for Nicole Blessing and her great set, everybody. Thank you.